Good afternoon, and welcome to the City of Rapid City Legal and Finance Committee meeting for Wednesday, June 27th, 2018. We'd like to start the meeting with a roll call and determination of quorum. Please, Stacy. Here. Thank you. Now's the time to adopt today's agenda, unless there's some item on the agenda today that a committee member would want to add, modify, or remove. I'll entertain a motion to adopt today's agenda as presented with an amendment.
Second.
I've got a motion by Armstrong to approve today's agenda, which consists of items 1 through 11. Second by Laurenti. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now's the time for general public comment. This is a time for any members in the audience to address the committee today on any items currently not on today's agenda. I have no speaker request forms. Am I missing anyone in the audience? Seeing none, we're going to move on to consent items. Consent items on today's calendar are items 1 through 8. Now's the time for public comment for consent items. Public comment on consent items 1 through 8. I have currently no speaker request forms. Am I missing anyone in the audience on consent items 1 through 8? Seeing none, public comment on consent items is now closed. Now's the time for consideration of any consent item by a committee member that wants to have it considered separately. I'd like to hear from anybody. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve consent items 1 through 8 as presented. I've got a motion by Armstrong to approve consent items 1 through 8, second by Laurenti. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now's the time for public comment on non-consent items. Again, non-consent items on today's agenda are items 9 through 11. I currently have no speaker request forms on non-consent items. Am I missing anyone in the audience on consent items 9 through 11? Public comment. Seeing none, public comment is now closed. Item number 9 is the introduction and first reading of ordinance number 6263 regarding supplemental appropriation number 4 for 2018.
Move to approve.
I've got a motion by Laurenti, second by Drury for item number 9. Just a comment, there was an addition made. It is highlighted in yellow on today's agenda. It's a small addition to the supplemental appropriation. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10 is the introduction and first reading of ordinance number 6262, an ordinance amendment to amend certain provisions within the sign code by amending section 17.50.090 of the Rapid City Municipal Code. This was forwarded by the Planning Commission without a recommendation. I'll entertain discussion or a motion by committee members.
Motion to approve.
I've got a motion by Laurenti to approve item number 10, a second by Laura Armstrong. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I will be voting no on this, so I'll take a moment to explain why. The summary attached contains the note that this amendment to our sign code is being done based on a settlement agreement for a court case. And so I stated when this was approved to bring forward this that I was not in support of legislating from the courts or from a settlement agreement. I'm not necessarily opposed to taking a look at a district along our interstate, but I do not believe that we should be legislating or passing ordinances based on an agreement for a settlement to be based on bringing forward something that basically is already pre-approved. When I did stream the Planning Commission discussion, it was a very long discussion, and it did include members of our Planning Commission that did talk about that this was preordained by the decision that the City Council made by settling this court case or engaging in a settlement for this court case by bringing forward a change to the sign ordinance. And that's what I was afraid of, just to be perfectly frank about this. When the City Council said that night that we were going to have staff bring this forward, it was still supposed to be open for discussion and interpretation, but already we had members on the Planning Commission that were already questioning or based their decision that it was preordained by the City Council, that this was just a hands-off, let it go through, let it be approved, because we don't have any say in it. And that's wrong, in my opinion. So I just wanted to go on record. That's why I'll be voting no. Chair would like to recognize Alderwoman Drury.
Thank you, Chair. May I ask Carla Cushman, attorney, question, please? Because I believe the memo came from you, didn't it, Carla? So can you address a little bit of what our chairperson, Ms. Scott, just talked about?
She's right that the ordinance was drafted as a result of the settlement agreement between Epic Outdoor Advertising and the city. That was debated by you all and approved a couple months ago. And so the staff drafted the ordinances before you today. What I told the Planning Commission and what I'll tell you is that, these are ordinances. We can't change our ordinances through an agreement. We have to go through the readings, and the process is required by state law. That's why it was before the Planning Commission. That's why it will be before this body twice for two readings. And so, if you choose to make changes to it, if you choose to not make the changes that are proposed, that's what the ordinances will remain. So, in some ways, these ordinances are just like any other ordinances that you see. You can say yes or you can say no. You can say make these changes, and that's what will occur.
But in effect, what the ordinances as proposed right now fall in line with the settlement agreement.
That's true.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
Thank you. We currently do have a motion to approve on the floor. Any further discussion? Seeing none? Roll call, please. No.
Yes, aye.
Motion passes 3-1 with a recommendation to approve going to City Council Monday night. Thank you, Carla, for the explanation. Item number 11 is the last item on today's non-consent. It was added as an addendum. Item 11 is to authorize the Rapid City Fire Department to apply for and accept a Department of Interior Bureau of Land Management Wildland Fire Community Assistant Grant Opportunity. That is a mouthful, Chief. That really is. But basically, this is to apply for a grant. If you are awarded the grant, it's to give you permission to accept the grant. And so I'll entertain a motion or discussion by committee.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Drury to approve, second by Laurenti. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Got a motion by Drury to adjourn, second by Armstrong. Any further discussion? Are you sure, Mr. Laurenti? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
When the people of Rapid City work together,